The domed amphitheater of Eos Prime shimmered like a jeweled beacon against the twin suns. From every corner of the galactic concordance, avast nebulae, ringed worlds, fractal cities, delegates had converged to settle humanity's fate. Ambassador Karash of the Vorax Consortium, his cobalt scales glinting under the chamber lights, tapped a claw against his lectern. "These Earthlings," he rasped, "are volatile. Their planet teems with violence and unpredictability. To admit them, now is to invite chaos." Opposite him, the crystalline matron Ordella of the Celestine hegemony raised a slender hand. Her voice rippled with calm authority. "And yet, consider their resilience. They have endured millennia of self-destruction and still reached beyond. Their blue orb seeking knowledge." Murmurs rippled through the audience. On a holographic projection, humanity's first warp drive test blinked in slow motion, a silver-shell probe warping into subspace, only to reappear broken and drifting, proof of both human ingenuity and recklessness. When the motion to quarantine, Earth passed by a narrow margin, 62 worlds in favor, 56 against, and a handful abstaining, the chamber fell silent. A single chime echoed through the dome, sealing the exile decree. No trade, no science exchange, no diplomatic contact with Earth until further notice. For the humans whose lives had only just touched the galactic stage, the sentence felt as though the sky itself had closed. On Earth the news struck like a meteor. In New Beijing, the neon-lit interstellar research grid went dark for a heartbeat, then erupted in alarmed chatter. Dr. Amina Patel, whose breakthrough work on quantum entanglement engines had first caught the Concorde's attention, stared at the transmission board as crimson letters scrolled, "Exile Decree Enacted." She clenched her fists, betraying the first crack in her steely composure. "They don't understand us," she murmured. "They fear what they've barely glimpsed." Half a world away, in the underground chambers of Brasilia's former parliament, world leaders convened an emergency summit. President Helena Vasquez stood at the front of the hall, backlit by the holographic Earth spinning serenely behind her. "This decree is not a death sentence," she declared, voice steady, "but a gauntlet thrown at our feet. We will pick it up and define our own destiny." Her words ignited hope in the room, forging alliances that had long been frayed by old grudges. In the Sahara, where parched sands once saw only military border checkpoints, the Great Sahara Solar Array hummed to life at full capacity. Engineers monitored the flux coils as they channeled terawatts of solar power into prototype drive cores, hoping to perfect a jump engine that no Concorde fleet could restrain. Across continents, from the jungles of Borneo to the tundras of Siberia, laboratories and shipyards shifted into overdrive. Black market circuits and off-the-books patents proliferated, each one a small act of rebellion against the cosmic quarantine. Amid the whirlwind of plans and prototypes, ordinary people found their own ways to stand together. Street rallies in Nairobi erupted not in protest, but in celebration of human potential. Flash mobs in Mumbai danced to synthesizer compositions inspired by the message, "We will not be silenced." Online, translation algorithms spread speeches of unity and determination into every lingua franca of Earth. The refrain was the same. "Quarantine us if you must, but we will reach you." Back on Eos Prime, the Concorde heard nothing. Their patrol ships searched the fringes of the Kuiper Belt, scanning for forbidden signals. Yet as Earth's nations poured their brightest minds into one purpose, they wove a tapestry of innovation so subtle it evaded detection. Antennae disguised. As meteor tracking arrays rose atop every skyscraper, data packets fractured into innocuous weather updates. Clandestine beacons blinked in lunar craters, Even as the exile decree loomed like a steel cage, humanity was quietly gathering strength. In the final hours before sunset, on Earth's first year of exile, Dr. Patel and President Vasquez met beneath the aurora-lit skies of Greenland's Polar Research Station. Snow crunched under their boots as they inspected the prototype of the Aurora Spear, a sleek warship codenamed for its promise of dawn. Patel's eyes reflected the ship's luminescent underbelly. "When they see us again," she said, "they will know we never bowed." Vasquez placed a hand on the ship's hull, voice soft but unwavering. "We stand on the edge of history. Amina, tonight we take the first step toward proving that humanity's spirit cannot be contained." Above them, the shimmering auroras danced like banners in a silent parade, as though even the cosmos acknowledged the moment. A species once dismissed, now united under a single oath to raise their voice and their light, until the galaxy could no longer turn away. Beneath the jagged peaks of the Himalayas, where centuries of snow and stone conspired to conceal human ambition, an army of engineers and visionaries carved out their sanctuary. Deep within the cooled magma chambers of Mount Kailash, the transcendent assembly convened beneath vaults reinforced by both bedrock and quantum field dampeners. Here, amid the rhythmic hum of fusion generators and the soft glow of crystalline communication arrays, Project Hypernet Beacon took shape. Overhead, a clandestine constellation of hundreds of microsatellites, each no larger than a terrestrial microwave, rested in geosynchronous orbit. To the casual observer, they appeared as drifting fragments of space debris. To the Concordance's scanners, they were an enigma, a puzzling anomaly in the ring of Kuiper Belt patrols. Each satellite harbored a sliver of the human soul, encrypted. Archives of art, philosophy, mathematics, even the faint murmur of children at play. Individually harmless, but woven together, they formed a tapestry of resonance designed to slip through any blockade. On the ice-choked plains of Kaber, the Shailari nomads, tall, ethereal beings whose telepathic symphonies reverberated across the tundra, had offered sanctuary and expertise. In their gleaming laboratories of living ice, they grafted neural link interfaces onto human-designed processors, creating hybrid cores capable of self-optimizing encryption. These cores, buried within the satellite array, would adapt in real time to any attempt at jamming or interception, fractal in their complexity yet singular in purpose, to announce humanity's presence. Further out, the gas giant turrets swirling, storms concealed another secret. Bioengineers had harvested the planet's luminescent plankton to produce living circuit boards. In floating sky farms tethered to the upper atmosphere, these organisms grew along lattices of transparent graphene, forming hull-integrated biochips. From these farms emerged the first of the Aurora-class stealth ships, sleek, silent vessels that could cloak themselves in the giant's neon clouds, evading even the keenest surveillance drones. Yet for all the marvels of biotechnology and quantum stealth, the heart of the hidden arsenal remained the beacon's control nexus, a concentric ring of synchronized quantum entanglement relays housed in the glass-domed city of New Vancouver, reclaimed from the Pacific's rising tides. Here, Dr. Amina Patel and her Shailari counterpart, Yirthal, sat side by side before a console of shifting holothreads. "We are threading our signal through the cosmic background itself," Yirthal intoned, his voice resonant and shimmering. "It will ride the echoes of creation until it finds ears willing to listen." Patel's fingers danced across the interface as the final code modules locked into place. "And once it reaches them," she replied, "their sensors will pick it up as a whisper on the wind, too subtle to block, too compelling to ignore." Outside, the city's thousands of antennae angled skyward, their skeletal forms camouflaged as reclaimed driftwood and tidal wreckage. To the Concordance's minders, they were nothing more than climate monitoring arrays. But tonight, they would do something far greater. They would light the fuse of a revolution. As the assembled allies watched in tense anticipation, the first entangled photon pulses blinked into existence, cascading through the quantum network. A soft hum, almost inaudible, pulsed across every continent and moon colony. And then, in a moment that rippled from Earth's highest mountaintops to the furthest research station on Luna, the beacon woke, and humanity's hidden arsenal stood ready to broadcast its challenge to the stars. When the first hypernet pulse slipped past the outer Kuiper Belt defenses, Commander Lysandra Coe of the Concordance frigate Diabolos was the first to notice. Her console flickered, warning lights erupting in silent staccato. Unidentified subspace. Signature. Approaching delta frequency, her communications officer barked. The captain narrowed her eyes. "Block it!" she ordered, fingers dancing over the override panel. But before the scramblers could engage, the warning lights went dark, and every system aboard the Diabolos flooded with data. Streams of human, art and music cascaded across hollow displays, whispered lullabies, pounding percussion, soaring orchestral crescendos. Philosophers' treatises scrolled in endless loops, war-scarred poets recited verses of hope, engineers' blueprints interleaved, with children's drawings of starships. At first, Lysandra thought it a trick, some exotic jamming array designed to disorient her crew. But as the data swelled, her bridge officers found themselves inexplicably moved, tears brimming in their eyes. "It's beautiful," one whispered. Across the solar system, every Concordance warship felt the same inexplicable tug. On the Vanguard, a battlecruiser orbited Ganymede. Captain Yesharim halted the deceleration burn mid-thrust. His comm channels crackled alive, officers exchanging stunned glances. "Stop the charges," he intoned, voice hollow. "Open a channel." Within moments, all Concord fleets were silent, stripped of aggression by the simple power of a distant planet's culture. Meanwhile, on the ring world of Macau Prime, Ambassador Alin IV led a restless crowd into the Grand Observatory. Screens that once tracked trade routes now showed the wavefront of the human hypernet. The ring's 1,000 towers pulsed in sympathy, and Macali citizens, once indifferent, tore down propaganda posters urging Earth's rejection. "They have spoken," Alin IV declared, "and they have reminded us what it means to be alive." Shouts of agreement rippled through the plaza, xenon-bright lanterns swaying overhead. On the ice moon Kaber, where the Shylari nomads had lent their neural link cores to the beacon, the telepathic networks were ablaze. Every empathic echo of the human transmission threaded through millions of Shylari minds as a chorus of discovery. "They resonate with our souls," Yerthal projected into Patel's comlink. "They sing of the same yearning for meaning." Together, they watched as remote observation posts recorded unexpected transmissions from worlds as distant as the Cydonia Expanse and the Nebulon Abyss. Back on Earth, the moment of triumph unfolded beneath the glass dome of New Vancouver. President Elena Vasquez stood before the Transcendent Assembly, linking her comm feed to every silent Concord vessel. "People of the galaxy," her voice rang clear, "we did not send weapons. We sent our stories, our art, our dreams. It is in these that we find common ground." Around her, the Assembly's crystal panels glowed, each panel the name of a star nation now humming in harmony with Earth's signal. In the Concordance High Council chamber on Eos Prime, the once unyielding Matron Ordella fought tears of her own. The ex-Vorax delegate sat beside her, scales dimmed to a muted lavender. "They showed us who they truly are," he croaked, "and I see now that fear was our enemy, not them." A single gavel strike resonated through the vaulted hall. a motion to lift the exile decree, to invite Earth's ambassadors forth. Moments later, in the vacuum of space between Luna and Mars, a single Concordance messenger cruiser drifted toward the orbital array. Its hull bore the seal of the Triadic Alliance, and on its bow, a simple banner unfurled in microgravity. "We are listening." As the cruiser's convoys locked onto Earth's clandestine network, the hypernet pulses dimmed to a steady heartbeat. The signal uprising had spoken, and the galaxy was finally awake to humanity's song. Earth's night sky burned with 1,000 new lights as the messenger cruiser from the Triadic Alliance eased into geosynchronous orbit. Below, the flash-fitted arrays of New Vancouver shimmered in welcome. President Elena Vasquez stood on the observation terrace of the glass dome, flanked by Dr. Amina Patel and their Shilary ally, Yirthal. Together, they watched the cruiser's emissary, the soft, undulating hull glinting with diplomatic insignia, extend its welcoming arm toward humanity's hidden arsenal. Inside the cruiser's opulent reception hall, Ambassador Karash, the very architect of the exile decree, bowed before humanity's delegates. His cobalt scales bore the subtle iridescence of humility. "You have shown us that power lies not in conquest, but in connection," he intoned. "On behalf of the Galactic Concordance, I revoke the quarantine. We invite Earth to join us at Eos Prime and claim its seat among the stars." A hush fell over the assembled crowd. Then, as if by instinct, every human present erupted into applause, tears glinting in the harsh glare of alien chandeliers. The journey to Eos Prime was swift and solemn. In the great council dome, its walls inscribed with the histories of 1,000 civilizations, President Vasquez placed a crystal seal upon the new Treaty of Inclusion. As the document's light cascaded in prismatic arcs across the marble floor, the chamber reverberated with jubilation. Species that once viewed humanity as a volatile anomaly now greeted them as equals. Matron Ordella's crystalline voice welcomed human science delegates. Mercenary captains of the Vorax Consortium toasted human pilots. Telepathic choruses of the Shilari harmonized with Earth's own symphonies. Back on Earth, the hypernet beacon transformed from a weapon of awakening into a beacon of collaboration. Its satellites, once clandestine, now broadcast open channels of cultural exchange. Holographic exhibitions of Terran art unfurled in alien megacities. Joint research outposts sprang up on Martian plateaus and Europa's ice fields. Human-led missions charted warp lanes through previously untraveled star clusters. The Aurora-class ships, cloaked no more, docked alongside Concordance vessels to share fuel, provisions, and stories of home. Yet for all the triumph and celebration, humanity's leaders never forgot the lesson of exile. In the archives of the Interstellar University, built around the original beacon control nexus, they preserved not just treaties and blueprints, but the memories of fear and exclusion that had forged their unity. New students from Zorax Fifth and the Tharkan frontier walked the same polished halls as Earth's children, learning that the galaxy's greatest strength lay in voices once silenced and now embraced. And so, beneath alien suns, and on the wind-swept dunes of newfound worlds, humanity's song continued to rise, a melody born of exile, but destined for the stars. What began as a desperate cry against quarantine had become an anthem of inclusion, proof that when a people refuses to be confined, their echo can reshape the cosmos itself.